And with a Scottish Cup final place secured last week, the treble is very much on. Rangers have already beaten Celtic at Ibrox. In fact, they've beaten everybody. 16 home games, 16 wins.
Craig Moore for Rangers. It's the bar! And Michael Knowles hits 3! Unbelievable!
Celtic on 91 points, Rangers on 88. Celtic's goal difference 64, Rangers goal difference 62. It's all about nerve as much as anything else. Inside 15 seconds! What a chance!
What an opportunity. Wrong the bear, looks as if he's head to the cloud somewhere there. It's a slip from Greg Shields. This is the ball completely. Wrong the bear, maybe surprised to get an opportunity. A player of his quality, the one thing you expect him to do is make the goalkeeper work, hit the target. It just doesn't connect properly at all and puts it well over the crossbar.
He seemed to strike that, Sandy, almost lazily. He was looking to plant it in the roof of the net when really anywhere would have done between the sticks.
I don't think he was expected to get the shot. That player of Ron De Boer's ability. If you would want anyone to be in that position, De Boer would be your choice. I'm sure he'll be determined to make up for that one.
It could have been, it should have been his 19th goal of the season, Chick. I can see Chick down in the technical area speaking away. Sadly his microphone's not working, which is maybe a blessing to us all.
You didn't switch it off, did you?
He's been faded out due to popular demand. Peter Canero, central midfield for Kilmarnock. He's added goal scoring to his game this season. And Giacomo gets beyond Hughes. Decent ball in. Confusion in the Rangers' defence. Kloss went for it, Moore went for it, and the chance fell for Andy McLaren.
Great play from Paul Di Giacomo down the right-hand side. Takes Stevie Hughes for pace, and there's a mix-up here. There's no communication between Stephen Kloss and Craig Moore. You can see them having worked here, and a chance for Kilmarnock.
So a chance at either end. It was a sitter for De Boer. It was a little bit more challenging for Andy McLaren, but it was an uncertain start, certainly, between Stefan Kloss and Craig Moore in that Rangers defence. Steve Fulton flicks it back to Freddie Dundala. They've recovered well, Kilmarnock, from that stunning start when Ronald De Boer might have scored with the game barely underway. Rickson's away, and he's caught and fouled by Andy McLaren, and immediately the yellow card shown to him.
It's good play from Fernando Rickson. Cut across your opponent once you're away, and Andy McLaren's got to step back from that. They just kept his momentum going, and an easy one for the referee to produce a yellow card.
And it's a booking against him with just 3 minutes gone, and Andrew, you shouldn't have done that.
It's been a good start to the game though.
The ball lost the ball under his boots. Shields cleared. And no one will be more relieved inside the ground than Greg Shields after that slip inside his own penalty box early on, and how he breathed again as De Boer volleyed over the top. That's James Fowler at right back for Kilmarnock.
Just when you mentioned Shields, Rob, it was I seen the Irish ground staff watering the pitch before the game. You'll be not too happy then.
With the extra water in that bit.
They must have been.
That's a nasty challenge from Steve Fulton into the back of Mikel Arteta, and he'll be lucky if he doesn't join Andy McLaren than Book.
Well, that's right, it's come through Arteta there, and you know, hasn't got any touch on the ball at all, so it's certainly a free kick, and I'm sure Alan Freeland said a word with Stevie Fulton as well. Good play from Arteta, using his body, enticing the challenge.
To Burr, Arteta. Rickson side foots it to Arteta. Lovely reverse pass. Michael Moles! Rangers ahead inside 5 minutes. Michael Moles scores his 12th goal of the season.
It's a magnificent finish from Michael Moles. It's all about the pass from Arteta as well. Moles does exceptionally well to stay onside. That'll change the direction, and that's where they put the ball across the goalkeeper, looking towards the back post. If it's not going in, you may get deflection, but there's no question where this one was going to end up in the back of the Kilmarnock net.
Real quality on the pass from Arteta, and the same can be said about the finish of Moles. It was clinical, in off the post. Gordon Marshall didn't sniff it, and Rangers are ahead.
Great striking play from Michael Moles. It's not the finish is obviously so important, but it's the fact that the run was so good, timed it to perfection to stay onside.
Michael Moles was having his shirts pulled there by Barry McLaughlin. Play goes on. And with Arteta, he's menacing in these opening stages. Mikel Arteta finding space in behind the Rangers attack. Ferguson for De Boer, onside. Good save Gordon Marshall. The danger might not be over though, because Michael Moles has scored again. 2 in 90 seconds for Moles. What a start for Rangers.
What a start for Michael Moles. This is magnificent. Long De Boer stays onside again. He does well here. Marshall does his job. But what about this? That's vision, awareness, ability, everything put together from Michael Moles. It's a fabulous goal to recognise the situation, the shot's on, and there's nothing Kilmarnock defenders can do about that.
I wonder if this might be the day that Rangers have a rethink about a new contract for Michael Moles, because 2 goals already in such an important game.
Well, he started so well, he's been playing well recently. He does exceptionally well, especially at Ibrox for Rangers.
Mistake by Steve Fulton, set up Barry Ferguson, and Rangers at the moment threatening to run riot.
It's a rampant at the moment, Rob. There's no way to describe it. Jim Jeffries got a bit of work to do. He's got to try and get his team to settle down and try to stop the flow of Rangers attacks.
I wonder if Chick's conquered his shyness.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm back. Bigger, better and noisier than like the Rangers supporter reacted.
Certainly noisier.
Jim Jeffries, Rob, was having a go at James Fowler in the wake of that chance by Ronald De Boer early on. The irony is, of course, everything's come down. Kilmarnock's left since then, and I have to say, the Kilmarnock dugout looking just a little shocked at the moment.
Not surprisingly, we've played just over 7.5 minutes. Rangers 2, and it could have been 3 ahead. And of course, if this were to be a final scoreline, and it would seem unlikely at this stage, it would be level again on points and on goals at the top of the Bank of Scotland Premier League. And Alex McLeish, if he was looking for an answer to those doubters who reckon Rangers might have lost their nerve, he's got some answer here.
I tell you what as well, Rob, I'm looking at his team formation today. He's changed the middle of the park. Barry Ferguson's playing the holding role, Arteta's playing on Ferguson's right hand side, and he's getting lots of space to play down there, and Hughes is playing left hand side. It's a change for Alec, and it's working really well for the Rangers manager.
Loving Crouch has set up that early chance for De Boer. Now threatens to do more damage. Mikel Arteta. Bags of time, bags of room. Finally Marshall tries to close him down. Ferguson! Not far away. And Kilmarnock are in chaos.
They are. It's down this left hand side, Rangers attacking wise. Eventually comes into the box, and Arteta had loads of time there to pick out almost any pass, tried to play it to Hughes, and Barry Ferguson following up. That's not a million miles away, is it?
And earlier on, before Barry Ferguson had that shot, Mikel Arteta, if he'd had a better touch inside the area, would surely have found the net.
I think it was a very tight angle for Arteta, Rob. I don't think he shot was the best option. He had better options trying to play it back the way to pick out a teammate to stick it in the back of the net.
Rangers have scored 6 against Kilmarnock earlier in the season. Here, that was back in October, 6-1. Of emulating that performance again.
Rob, I'm just looking at Alex McLeish and he's pointing to his watch, he's shouting at the referee already, he's trying to say...
Arteta again finds room. Good challenge from Dundala. Fulton to Canero. Ferguson slipped. Hughes chases Canero. The two Scotland under-21 players, and Barry Ferguson is still on the ground.
It looks a sore one, Barry Ferguson. He actually slipped first of all back to the water on the pitch. But I'm sure the Rangers can't, but he'll want to get back and get on with this game.
Barry Ferguson trying to wave away Alan Freeland's note of concern, but he's got a look of agony written all over his face after slipping as he tried to challenge Canero. Rangers supporters couldn't have hoped for better. 2-0 up, 11 minutes played. De Boer to Mols. Died 15 seconds! What a chance!
What an opportunity. Wrong, De Boer looks as if he's head to the clouds somewhere there. It's a slip from Greg Shields. This is the ball completely. Wrong, De Boer maybe surprised to get an opportunity. A player of his quality, the one thing he expected to do is make the goalkeeper work, hit the target. He just doesn't connect properly at all and puts it well over the crossbar.
He seemed to strike that, Sandy, almost lazily. He was looking to plant it in the roof of the net when really anywhere would have done between the sticks.
I don't think he was expected to get the shot. That player of Wrong, De Boer's ability. If you would want anyone to be in that position, De Boer would be your choice. I'm sure he'll be determined to make up for that one.
It could have been, it should have been his 19th goal of the season, Chick. I can see Chick down in the technical area speaking away. Sadly his microphone's not working, which is maybe a blessing to us all.
You didn't switch it off, did you?
He's been faded out due to popular demand. Peter Canero, central midfield for Kilmarnock. He's added goal scoring to his game this season. And Giacomo gets beyond Hughes. Decent ball in. Confusion in the Rangers' defence. Kloss went for it, Moore went for it, and the chance fell for Andy McLaren.
Great play from Paul Di Giacomo down the right hand side. Takes Stevie Hughes for pace, and there's a mix up here. There's no communication between Stephen Kloss and Craig Moore. You can see them having worked here, and a chance for Kilmarnock.
So a chance at either end. It was a sitter for De Boer. It was a little bit more challenging for Andy McLaren, but it was an uncertain start, certainly, between Stefan Kloss and Craig Moore in that Rangers defence. Steve Fulton flicks it back to Freddie Dundala. They've recovered well, Kilmarnock, from that stunning start when Ronald De Boer might have scored with the game barely underway. Rickson's away, and he's caught and fouled by Andy McLaren, and immediately the yellow card shown to him.
It's good play from Fernando Rickson. Cut across your opponent once you're away, and Andy McLaren, he's got to stay back from that. They just kept his momentum going, and an easy one for the referee to produce a yellow card.
And it's a booking against him with just 3 minutes gone, and Andrew, you shouldn't have done that. It's
been a good start to the game though.
boots. Shields cleared. And no one will be more relieved inside the ground than Greg Shields after that slip inside his own penalty box early on, and how he breathed again as the Burr volleyed over the top. That's James Fowler at right back for Kilmarnock.
Just when you mentioned Shields, Rob, it was I seen the Irish ground staff watering the pitch before the game. He'll be not too happy then.
Did they put extra water in that bit?
They must have been.
That's a nasty challenge from Steve Fulton into the back of Mikel Arteta, and he'll be lucky if he doesn't join Andy McLaren in the book.
Well, that's right, it's come through Arteta there, and hasn't got any touch on the ball at all, so it's certainly a free kick, and I'm sure Alan Freeland said a word with Stevie Fulton as well. Good play from Arteta, using his body, enticing the challenge.
To Burr, Arteta. Rickson side foots it to Arteta. Lovely reverse pass. Michael Knowles! Rangers ahead inside 5 minutes. Michael Knowles scores his 12th goal of the season.
It's a magnificent finish from Michael Knowles. It's all about the pass from Arteta as well. Knowles does exceptionally well to stay onside. Little change of direction, and that's where they put the ball across the goalkeeper, rolling towards the back post. If it's not going in, you may get deflection, but there's no question where this one's going to end up in the back of the Kilmarnock net.
Real quality on the pass from Arteta, and the same can be said about the finish of Knowles. It was clinical, in off the post. Gordon Marshall didn't sniff it, and Rangers are ahead.
From Michael Knowles. It's not the finish is obviously so important, but it's the fact that the run was so good, timed it to perfection to stay onside.
Michael Knowles was having his shirts pulled there by Barry McLaughlin. Play goes on. And with Arteta, he's menacing in these opening stages. Mikel Arteta finding space in behind the Rangers attack. Ferguson for De Boer, onside. Good save, Gordon Marshall. The danger might not be over though, because Michael Knowles has scored again. 2 in 90 seconds from Knowles. What a start for Rangers.
What a start for Michael Knowles. This is magnificent. Ronald De Boer stays onside again. He does well here. Marshall does his job. But what about this? That's vision, awareness, ability, everything put together from Michael Knowles. It's a fabulous goal to recognise the situation, the shot's on, and there's nothing Kilmarnock defenders can do about that.
I wonder if this might be the day that Rangers have a rethink about a new contract for Michael Knowles, because 2 goals already in such an important game.
Well, he started so well, he's been playing well recently. He does exceptionally well, especially at Ibrox for Rangers.
Mistake by Steve Fulton, set up Barry Ferguson, and Rangers at the moment threatening to run riot.
It's a rampant at the moment, Rob. There's no way to describe it. Jim Jeffries got a bit of work to do. He's got to try and get his team to settle down and try to stop the flow of Rangers attacks.
I wonder if Chick's conquered his shyness.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm back. Bigger, better, noisier than like the Rangers support have reacted.
Certainly noisier.
Jim Jeffries, Rob, was having a go at James Fowler in the wake of that chance by Ronald De Boer early on. The irony is, of course, everything's come down. Kilmarnock's left since then, and I have to say, the Kilmarnock dugout looking just a little shocked at the moment.
Not surprisingly, we've played just over 7.5 minutes. Rangers 2, and it could have been 3 ahead. And of course, if this were to be a final scoreline, and it would seem unlikely at this stage, it would be level again on points and on goals at the top of the Bank of Scotland Premier League. And Alex McLeish, if he was looking for an answer to those doubters who reckon Rangers might have lost their nerve, he's got some answer here.
I tell you what as well, Rob, I'm looking at his team formation today. He's changed the middle of the park. Barry Ferguson's playing the holding role, Arteta's playing on Ferguson's right hand side, and he's getting lots of space to play down there, and Hughes is playing left hand side. It's a change for Alec, and it's working really well for the Rangers manager.
Loving Lovencrantz, who set up that early chance for De Boer, now threatens to do more damage. Mikel Arteta, bags of time, bags of room. Finally Marshall tries to close him down. Ferguson, not far away, and Kilmarnock are in chaos.
They are. It's down this left hand side, Rangers attacking wise. Eventually comes into the box, and Arteta had loads of time there to pick out almost any pass, tried to play it to Hughes, and Barry Ferguson following up. That's not a million miles away, is it?
And earlier on, before Barry Ferguson had that shot, Mikel Arteta, if he did a better touch inside the area, would surely have found the net.
I think it was a very tight angle for Arteta, Rob. I don't think he hit the shot was the best option. He had better options trying to play it back the way to pick out a teammate to stick it in the back of the net.
Rangers have scored 6 against Kilmarnock earlier in the season. Here, that was back in October, 6-1. Of emulating that performance again.
Rob, I'm just looking at Alex McLeish, and he's pointing to his watch, he's shouting at the referee already. He's trying to say
Arteta again finds room. Good challenge from Dundala. Now Fulton to Canero. Ferguson slipped. Hughes chases Canero. The two Scotland under-21 players, and Barry Ferguson is still on the ground.
it looks a sore one. Barry Ferguson actually slipped first of all back to the water on the pitch. But I'm sure the Rangers captain, he'll want to get back and get on with this game.
Ferguson trying to wave away Alan Freeland's note of concern, but he's got a look of agony written all over his face after slipping as he tried to challenge Canero. Supporters couldn't have hoped for better. 2-0 up, 11 minutes played. De Boer to Moles. That's a corner.
That's a great play from Michael Moles again. Ronald De Boer, great play first and foremost, but just puts a little bit too much in the pass. But Michael Moles made the best of a bad pass and won the corner kick.
Arteta's corner kick, Amoruso's header, and the marking wasn't too clever there.
I'll tell you a bit strange, Rob, but Stevie Fulton is picking up Lorenzo Amoruso. That's an unusual combination. He would fancy the big Italian to win most of it.
That was Hughes, flipped on by Lovencrantz and through to Marshall. I mentioned that 6-1 win here in October. Michael Moles scored 2 that day, and he's done exactly the same again. And of course he's got...
We'll be looking for more goals today.
Chick, is it fair to assume Alex McLeish is fairly happy?
Never fair to assume that. Any time, Rob, don't ever assume that. But I think he's having a go now at Lovencrantz. He wants him to get the ball down and go it forward down the left side. Plenty of room in the touchline. He's got to get the ball. Well, I thought Amoruso was going to give it there, but he wants to get it down and go at the defence and get to the byline. That's his instructions to Lovencrantz.
He's absolutely furious, Lorenzo Amoruso, who's looking for Lovencrantz to have a go down the left side, and he would...
There's a mix-up between the Rangers centre-back and Lovencrantz here.
Rickson. McLaughlin's challenge on Moles, and the ball runs through. I hope Gordon Marshall wasn't hoping for a lazy Sunday afternoon in Govan. Lovencrantz to Arteta. Good challenge from Dundala. Now Fulton. Kilmarnock are shocked and stunned, as well they might be. Andy McLaren, Paul Di Giacomo. James Fowler caught by Lovencrantz as he played the pass away. Advantage. No great advantage with a cross of low quality there from Dick Advocaat.
That's a poor ball from Dick Advocaat. No Kilmarnock player in that area of the pitch. Got to try and hold on to the ball. Kilmarnock got to try and keep possession to take the pressure off the defenders. And it won't happen if you play crosses like that.
The match now beginning to settle down, but sadly for Kilmarnock, they look up at the scoreboard and see Rangers 2, Kilmarnock 0 already.
Pretty certain Alex McLeish will be trying to get the message to these players. They've got to keep the pace of the game up. They've got to try and keep the tempo up. So they will now see this as an opportunity of going in front of Celtic in goal difference.
That took a touch off Arthur Newman on its way across the touchline. Alex McLeish will look to get a healthy boost to the goal difference this afternoon. Of course, that might well matter before this title race is over. Hughes with the pass, and James Fowler did enough.
James Fowler actually coped with that very well there. It's a great pass from Stevie Hughes. Fowler managed to match Bobby transfer pace.
Dundala's header, Fulton. Hughes got there before Dick Advocaat and gets it back from Newman. McLaughlin to Fowler and then back to Gordon Marshall, 8 days away from his 39th birthday. Newman slipped, and Giacomo finds some room. And look at Arthur Newman, that's tremendous defending. He slipped, he looked beaten, but back he got and wins the goal kick.
It's a great recovery. Lorenzo Amoruso also does well here, doesn't dive in, holds up play, doesn't let Giacomo go beyond him, buying time for Newman to work back and clear the danger. Coming to the end of his Rangers career, Arthur Newman, and wants to leave Ibrox with a championship winners medal, another one. Craig Moore into the feet of Ronald de Boer. Ferguson from Mols. Shot tugging going on, Rangers have a free kick. Kilmarnock struggling to cope. Yeah, Rangers are trying to play passes from the back row. They're trying to play at the feet of Mols and de Boer, and those two are so talented coming short, picking up the ball and creating opportunities. Ferguson with a miscue on the free kick. I don't think that was his intention. Rickson's pass, Dindalo cuts it out. Well up with Stephen Hughes. Giacomo to Mahood. Now Fulton beaten by the bounce. And now has to track back. Arteta to de Boer. Mols and Lovenkrands in the middle. Ferguson getting there. Rangers toying with Kilmarnock at this stage. Mols, Arteta. Onside, Ronald de Boer. Saved by Gordon Marshall. It could have been another one. Wonderful skill from Arteta. It's great save from Gordon Marshall as well, but Arteta does exceptionally well here. And again, de Boer's onside. The Kilmarnock back four are all over the place. They just can't get in the line and play Rangers offside. But good first touch from Ronald de Boer. Unfortunately, as it ends up back to goal, Marshall closes him down well. Jim Jeffries is having a rant and a rave down in the Kilmarnock technical area, not surprisingly, because Kilmarnock lucky to only be 2 down. De Boer weaving his way through, now Hughes. Ferguson sees Arteta has some room. Mikel Arteta lines up the shooting chance. Freddie Dundala charged it down. And a
free kick given for Arteta's challenge on Marshall.
I think the referees took the assistant referee the pressure off him here, Rob. You watch this shot, it's high in the air. I don't think this is a free kick. I think it's a corner kick. Now, when eventually it was a goal kick, the assistant referee was right. I think the crowd having a go at the assistant referee decided to give a free kick.
Rickson's header. What was Jim Jeffries mumping and moaning about, Chick?
Well, one of the many things is midfield, actually. I think he's trying to get some instruction to the midfield players that they get sucked too far to the left. I think maybe he feels Lovenkrands get spaced down the right, but the whole middle of the park spread across there, Canero in particular is taking a bit of a flea there.
Amaruso trying to play in Moles, but he looked across and saw the flag up. And it's symmetrical down at the touchline now, because Alex McLeish and Jim Jeffries are both out, having their say. Alex McLeish has seen his team get off to a dream start after that nightmare miss by Ronald de Boer in 15 seconds. 2 from Moles. Rangers are ahead.
Wonder, Rob, if Jim Jeffries is having a real look at maybe trying to change the system. I really don't think he can. Rangers play 3 up, 2 wide, 1 through the middle, so he's got to keep a back 4, and he's trying to balance out man for man in the middle of the park, and he's tactically doing the right things, but unfortunately Rangers appear to have more ability at this moment in time, and that's why they're winning. Here's
another threat for Kilmarnock. Lovenkrands races through. Was he tripped by James Fowler? Alan Freeland says play on. He ruled this was accidental.
He was never going to get the ball anyway, but that's a free kick. Fowler's had a kick at Lovenkrands on the way through there, and really you've got to pull it up. That's got to be a free kick.
And a red card.
Well, it's a possibility of that. It's maybe not a goal scoring opportunity, Rob, because he's not going to get the ball, but it certainly could easily be a yellow card, certainly a free kick.
But it was a deliberate trip, as you saw from the pictures there, and James Fowler is lucky here that he's not got himself into serious trouble. There's the kick at Lovenkrands as the ball runs through. He wasn't going to catch it, but it might well have been a yellow. Here comes Gordon Marshall outside his territory. Every time Rangers get the ball into the final third, there is a serious problem for Kilmarnock. Here's a Canero, beaten by Barry Ferguson. Arthur Newman plays it back to Amaruso, and Rangers playing here with real hunger, real appetite. They want to win this, and they want more goals, Sandy.
They've got lots of determination. I'm just looking at McSwiggan, McLaren, the Giacomo. They're hardly in the game, Rob. Kilmarnock can't play passes.
Ferguson, Arteta, Rickson. Mikel Arteta is having a very influential first half. Ronald de Boer, terrific movement. He's right into the danger area, and Michael Moles had a chance for the hat-trick. Didn't catch the shot.
It was unlucky Michael Moles. He sticks under his feet.
Newman to Ferguson. Boer holds off Shields. Lovely skill from Ronald de Boer, and he tried to swerve the shot in.
Great ability again from Ronald de Boer. He's not too happy with the finish. De Boer is smart, just quick change of feet. He wouldn't be happy with the shot. He's got to get it on target, but ability-wise to create the opportunity is excellent.
And this was the attempt by Michael Moles to score his hat-trick. This time it was de Boer, the set-up man, pulled it back from the byline, and Moles might well have scored.
He has to give Barry McLaughlin a lot of credit there, Rob, defended the situation well. I'm actually watching the way Rangers are playing, Rob, but Ronald de Boer, Mikel Arteta, they're interchanging so much. De Boer starts wide on the right hand side, comes in field to create space down the wing, and Arteta's more than happy to work into that area.
And Kilmarnock still look pretty bemused at the way Rangers are playing. There's so much passing and movement from Rangers and unpredictability that Kilmarnock don't quite know what to do next.
They're working every bit as hard as Rangers, but the quality of the Rangers team is certainly coming through.
Arthur Newman on the overlap, and Scott Marshall comes to grab the cross, then gives it away to Mikel Arteta. Moles gets turned. Dundala desperate in his challenge to force it clear, and that was almost a serious blunder by Marshall. Having caught the cross, then threw it straight to the Rangers player. Lovenkrantz, and this time again it's in the hands of the Kilmarnock goalkeeper, but he won't want to see this one back.
No, he won't throw it as quick this time, will he? This is the earlier one. He does really well, Gordon Marshall, to collect the cross, but I can't believe this. I don't know what he's thinking about at all. He throws it straight to Mikel Arteta's chest. I thought he was going to try and lob him, actually.
De Boer against McLaughlin. Overrun it, Ronald De Boer in the end. Greg Shields intercepted, but Fernando Rickson has it back. Not quite for Moles, but what a match and what a title race we have on our hands. And watch it every step of the way on BBC Scotland, starting on Wednesday. Celtic against Dundee from 7:30, and next Sunday we're at Tynecastle, Hearts against Rangers. And after that, it's all down to the final Sunday. Michael Moles hurt. And Alan Freeland wants a word with Harry McLaughlin.
It's a challenge from the back, Rob. McLaughlin was into the back of Michael Moles, and I think Alan Freeland tried to play the advantage room. That's why he's now having a word with McLaughlin. He's not giving him that yellow card as well, is he?
Don't think he's quite got those powers yet. Give it time. De Boer slides it through to Moles and then gets it back. Almost had Dindala not intercepted. Ferguson to Hughes. Stephen Hughes has played his part in this sparkling first half show from Rangers. Signs of frustration showing in Kilmarnock's play, and that's Alan Mahood.
It's a tackle from the back again. Mikel Arteta's first touch is so good, takes it in well, lays the ball off, and Mahood catches him really late. His first touch is so good, Mikel Arteta. Buys himself time to pick out a good pass afterwards.
Free kick taken short from Amaruso to Ferguson. Rangers fans impatient for more goals. They can't really complain about the first half entertainment so far, I don't think.
I think a feature of the game as well, Rob, is every time Kilmarnock get the ball, Rangers work so hard to get it back and then invariably win it back so easily.
Dijankomo to Fowler. Fowler fouled by Lovenkrantz. 27 minutes gone at Ibrox. Rangers 2, Kilmarnock 0. Both goals from Michael Moles, 2 in 90 seconds. Foul this time by Paul Dijankomo and Peter Lovenkrantz.
Dijankomo, Robbins, first of all kicked the ball away after the free kick, and then he stopped after Newman taking a quick one, so I'm sure Alan Freeland against him had quite worked. No more.
Let's hear from Chick.
Alex McLeish is still mumping and moaning about the time wasted. Get on with the game, and he's urging his players, Rob, to take everything, the free kicks, as quickly as they possibly can. He obviously feels that they shouldn't waste a second in this game, and all that talk pre-match about he just wants the points, never mind the goal difference. What a lot of nonsense.
We didn't believe him at the time, did we, really? But well on the way to 3 points here, Rangers, and they'll be looking certainly to add to the 2 goals they have on the scoreboard already. Mahood's pass intercepted by Amaruso. Kilmarnock unable to keep the ball, and now Amaruso charging forward. Fouled by Alan Mahood, and Mahood is yellow carded.
It's a late tackle again from Alan Mahood. He got away with it the first time with Mikel Arteta, but you see here he doesn't make any contact with the ball. Amaruso's gone beyond him. Mahood makes contact with the Rangers centre back, and that's why it's a free kick, and that's why it's a yellow card. It's 2 in a row from Alan Mahood.
says Gordon Marshall. And there they are. Canero and Fowler and the Giacomo and Shields. Ferguson stands over the ball. And menacingly just behind him, Lorenzo Amoruso. He was placing the ball very carefully on the turf. We know what that means. Amoruso's shot, and again, one into the wall, the second into the stand.
Yeah, the second one was pure technique from Amoruso, but he's so confident at set pieces. He gets such a variation from him. It's either back of the net or rose head.
Head flick, that was McLaren. Now with Di Giacomo. Gets the better of Hughes. Helped out by Canero. Tries to hold off Amoruso. Good luck to him. That Kilmarnock attack was just brushed aside by Rangers.
It was. They were so determined, Amoruso especially, to get the ball back.
Remember, man of the match on 0900 10 225. A new Game Boy SP could be yours. A signed man of the match top, a supporters kit, or an SPL family ticket. All those prizes available if you pick the same man of the match as Sandy later. Newman to Lovenkrantz. His cross deflected off Fowler and cleared. Hughes first there, and James Fowler again with a calm, controlled header, this time out to Fulton, who doesn't keep possession. Arteta for Rangers has a free kick. Well, Steve Fulton was his own worst enemy there, because he really shouldn't have lost possession in the first place.
He gave the ball away, and Mikel Arteta just decided to run across the park with it. Fulton trying to make amends, trying to win the ball back, but Arteta kept possession well.
Amoruso over the free kick. I think Alex McLeish wants him in the box instead. Squared for Ferguson, and the shot straight at Marshall, but the manager there was screaming at Amoruso, don't take the free kick, get in the middle on the end of it.
I think he made a bit of a hash of it, but the ball eventually coming to Ferguson. It's a decent shot, it's on target, but right down Gordon Marshall's throat.
Excellent hold-up work from Moles. Hughes lofts it over the head of Fowler for Lovenkrantz. Played the early ball in, and amazingly, Roland de Boer was able to get on the end of it. Arteta dinks it in for Hughes. Fowler clears. Danger not yet over. De Boer played it in. Did it come off the hand of Greg Shields?
De Boer is a good area to play the ball into. It's his forearm as much as anything else. He maybe couldn't get out of the way of that one.
Kilmarnock were shell-shocked early on, and they haven't really recovered. Arteta's corner. Amoruso tried to get his head to it. Played away by McLaughlin. Ferguson to Hughes. And back again. Can't get near it. Ricks it in for Amoruso. Dundala won the header.
It's every 50-50 ball. Well, Rangers seem to win every single one of them at this moment in time. Kilmarnock can't get a kick.
Peter Lovenkrantz with the deep cross for De Boer. Managed to force it back in despite the attentions of Fowler. Check with the latest from the technical area.
just what you were saying about Alex McLeish wanting Amoruso to push forward, to get away from taking the free kicks, get on the end of them, kept them pushed forward there, and Stephen Hughes has been told to get into a defensive area and cover for Amoruso when he gets forward as often as he possibly can.
Arthur Newman. Short pass to Stephen Hughes. Holds off Canero and gets his pass away to Moore. In for Michael Moles. Good work from Alan Mahood. But so much hesitation about the way that Kilmarnock are defending.
Yeah, the Rangers are passing the ball so well, they're moving the ball over the place.
Newman's pass there intended for Moles, but it's cannoned into Hughes. And Lovenkrantz, fouled by Paul Di Giacomo, and he came close to a yellow card earlier on. He's even closer now.
He certainly got that one, yes. It's certainly a forward tackle when you watch it. It's good play from Lovenkrantz, wins the ball well, just knocks it beyond them. And it's a late tackle, as I say, it's a forward tackle from Di Giacomo.
Into Hughes, Rickson, Greg Shields with the header. Andy McLaren was being fouled by Rickson, and applauds the decision. 10 days away, the UEFA Cup final in Seville. Celtic against Porto. It's live on the BBC from 7 in the evening. It could be an unforgettable evening, that one. And 20 years to the day, of course, since Aberdeen were the last Scottish team to win a European trophy. That was the Cup Winners' Cup in Gothenburg against Real Madrid. And guess who was in central defence for Aberdeen? Looking a little bit younger. Well, weren't we all then? Across comes Craig Moore, who's had very little to do in this first half.
That's good play from Craig Moore, though, showing he's keeping his concentration. First and foremost, Moore and Amoruso have to defend well.
Good challenge by Lovenkrantz. McLaughlin lofts it forward, Amoruso heads it away, and Arteta's boot was high. Kilmarnock have a free kick. Danny McSwiggan has scored 7 goals in his last 7 games, 11 for the season, but he hasn't had a chance here at all.
I don't think he's 7 kicks.
Fulton's free kick. McLaughlin tried to get his head to it, skimmed off the head of Amoruso, and short corner, Kilmarnock have a corner. Alan Mahood with the short corner. Paul Di Giacomo has a free kick given against Stephen Hughes.
Bit surprised Kilmarnock didn't play the corner kick into the box. They've got Dindaloo and McLaughlin up from the back.
They certainly need to go back to reignite their hopes of taking something from Ibrox. Danny McSwiggan fancies a crack at this one. Rickson right on top of him as he struck the shot, and Steve Fulton was fouled right at the edge of the box. Fernando Rickson was the offender.
That's good play from Stephen Fulton. I'm sorry, but Rickson was certainly dived in a little bit there, and the referee, I think, saying he'll just settle down.
It was a crazy challenge from Rickson. And a couple of feet further on, that was a penalty. Alan Freeland is being very hopeful, asking Fernando Rickson to calm down without the aid of an ice pack. Andy McLaren's free kick is a big disappointment for Kilmarnock. He scored twice this season against both halves of the Old Firm, but that one was never likely to have the beating of Stefan Klos.
I'm not too sure, Rob. Was it a cross? Was it a shot? I don't think Andy can make his mind up. It ends up in between. It's a floating ball in towards the back post, and really was never going to trouble the Rangers defence.
Little joy for Jim Jeffries in the first half. Ian Durant alongside him, a former Rangers player. But his old team streets ahead so far.
They are. I'm looking at the Kilmarnock system. It's actually more like 4-5-1. Now both the wide players, the Giacomo and Andy McLaren, are having to work back the way continually, chasing Rickson and Newman.
Mahood cuts out a pass from Lovenkrantz. McLaughlin. There's Arthur Newman. A wayward pass from Hughes. McLaughlin not the first in this match to lose his footing. Greg Shields almost disastrously so in the opening seconds. Good running from Michael Moles, stretching the Kilmarnock defence, and then trying to release Fernando Rickson. Not quite the pass, but Rangers full of ideas.
Good play again, great ball there from Barry Ferguson to Moles.
The shout of hold to Andy McLaren, coming a fraction too late as he head flicked the ball on. Now with Arteta, who's looked a very impressive player in the first half here. There have been some doubts expressed by the Rangers supporters about his contribution at times this season, but not here. Good run from Peter Lovenkrantz and plays it off James Fowler for the corner. He's had a hard shift in the first half here, James Fowler. This time Lorenzo Amoruso responding to the shouts of his manager. He is up for the corner. In from Rickson. Headed away by Peter Canero. Barry Ferguson. Arthur Newman. Amoruso flicks it on to Arteta. Free kick given against Di Giacomo's challenge on the 20-year-old Spaniard.
He's not the best at defending Paul Di Giacomo. It's obstruction as much as anything else. Arteta knocks the ball beyond him. Di Giacomo just staying in his way.
Kilmarnock will want to keep close tabs on Amoruso and Moore. De Boer and Moles and Lovenkrantz also there in that tight cluster of players inside the box. Arteta drives in the free kick. It's off the post. The great escape for Kilmarnock, otherwise it was 3-0. How did that get through?
I don't know, it's a variation from Arteta to say the least. A low-driven ball in. Newman
knocks it back into the box, but this time no great problem for Gordon Marshall. The free kick from Mikel Arteta was certainly a problem for the Killie keeper. He looked as bemused as anyone as the ball rolled against the post.
Yeah, it's a good free kick. It's different. Amoruso's about the play somewhere. I think he maybe just gets a touch there if anything, hits the post and clears out.
Mahood has given it away to Arthur Newman. Paul Di Giacomo is treading a dangerous line here. He's just been penalised on the other side of the pitch for his challenge on Arteta. He's got a yellow card against him, and this was unwise against Newman.
Yeah, it's a challenge again. It's a 4-arm into Arthur Newman. He's got to be really careful, the young man. He's having to work back, do a lot of defending. That's why he's getting involved in so many challenges in there. I'm sure Jim Jeffries is having a wee look at that situation.
Ferguson to De Boer, and back again. Barry Ferguson tugs the shot wide. Lovely interchange with De Boer.
That's a chance to Rob. Great play. Those two link so well, De Boer and Ferguson. Well aware of what's happening with each other. Barry tries to pull it across the goalkeeper, but doesn't make good contact with his left foot. But it's certainly an opportunity.
Let's hear from Chick.
Yeah, Rangers have a problem. I think Peter Lovenkrands has been struggling for some time with an injury. Alex McLeish has given the nod to Neil McCann to get himself warmed up, and they might even make this change before half time in the dying seconds, Rob. 2 minutes of Scottish time to be added on.
All the information you need from Mr. C. Young. Lovenkrands, as the first half comes to a close, stopped by Fowler, but the support for Rangers comes quickly from Stephen Hughes. We've played 45 minutes at Ibrox. We're inside that stoppage time, and the big surprise is the scoreline, really, that it's still only 2-0.
Well, you feel as if there's more goals in the Rangers team. I'm just watching Jim Jeffries here. He's trying to urge his defenders out, his midfield players further forward, but it's just not happening. They're sitting in almost in the 18-yard line.
As Barry Ferguson waltzes through and misses an absolute sitter. 2 penalties missed at Dens last Sunday, and he might have had a couple of goals in the first half here.
I know it's a chance, Rob, but it's great play as well from Ferguson. Watch this, just walks past people here, doesn't panic, perfect control of the ball, creates the space for the shot, and the one bit he gets wrong, he doesn't again hit the target. It's great play, great awareness, great balance to move from left foot to right foot. The right foot's his stronger foot, and he really should stick that one on target at the very least.
Just 1 minute left of the first half. We've played a minute of stoppage time already, and I think Kilmarnock will welcome the chance to lie down in a darkened corner of the away dressing room here to try to recover, try to rebuild for the second half.
It's a hard one for Jim Jeffries and his team. We've already mentioned some of the Kilmarnock players' names today. That's how little I've seen of the ball. It's all been about Rangers. I think you give Alex McLeish credit. Jim Jeffries not too happy about that. McLeish credit for his team playing so well first half.
Well, we've added on only 90 seconds to the first 45 minutes. Alan Freeland has obviously decided that that's enough punishment for Kilmarnock, who might have been one down inside 15 seconds. They were down after 4 minutes when Michael Moles scored, and he scored again 90 seconds later. And this was the opening goal, flicked in by Arteta. Lovely use of the outside of the right foot, and a clinical finish from Moles for his 12th goal of the season. This was his 13th of the season. Nothing lucky about it. It was brilliant vision, great awareness to loft the ball over Gordon Marshall, who had sprinted off his goal line. Since then, we could have had any number of other goals to add to that tally, but as it is, at Ibrox at half-time, it's Rangers 2, Kilmarnock 0.
Well, a very dramatic first 45 minutes. That will certainly settle the nerves for Rangers, Ray.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, it's been one-way ticket, really, hasn't it? Rangers have absolutely dominated the game. They've scored 2. They should have scored 6. And you know, the goal difference is going to be vitally important, and they must make sure that if they get those chances in the second half, that they finish Kilmarnock off in big style. Craig's absolutely delighted.
If the scoreline stands, it will be Celtic 91 points, Rangers 91 points. Celtic goal difference 64, Rangers goal difference 64. Thankfully I've got a top-level mathematician alongside me to adjudicate.
Can't see him about anywhere. Not too much of a surprise, Rob, that Jim Jeffries changed things at half-time. I'm pretty certain he'll go to a 4-4-2 system now with Giacomo playing through the middle. Maybe still on the right-hand side with Chris Boyd through the middle.
And Rangers will want to pick up where they left off, play exactly the way they played in that first half, and take 1 or 2 more chances.
They'll be looking for more goals, no question about that. And Arkaladze, he can certainly stick the ball in the back of the net. It looks as if he's going to play in the same position as Lovenkrands, wide on the left-hand side. And
here he is immediately on the end of Barry Ferguson's pass. And if Kilmarnock thought there was any respite with Lovenkrands off, they were wrong.
This is great play again from Rangers. What a magnificent pass, and good first touch from Advocaat. Again, staying onside. A great recovery and tackle there by Fowler.
A minute after the restart, Arteta's corner kick cleared by Chris Boyd. Back to Arteta from Newman. Lovely skill. Gets to the byline, Arteta. And it was Fowler who intercepted the cutback, and James Fowler who clears. McLaughlin. Gary Locke. To Giacomo. Useful pass. Boyd onside. That wasn't really what was called for from Chris Boyd.
No, it's well off target, but didn't have a lot of options. No support at all to Boyd there as he broke forward.
Is that no way you hold it up, Sandy?
But you've got to try and hold on to the ball, maybe win a corner kick, maybe get an opportunity to go beyond the defender.
He does score coming off the bench, Chris Boyd. He's got 6 goals as a sub already this season, and 11 in total. He's joint top scorer with Gary McSwegan, and still only 19, so he's a real prospect. He's a big lad, he's got physique, and he knows how to score goals, just not that time. The Sunday sunshine and Rangers prospering. Burr must have wondered what afternoon was ahead of Rangers when he blazed over that early chance, but since then it's been chance after chance, and I think I've lost count of the opportunities that Rangers have had to score here today.
There have been a few, that's for certain. They've played well. It's also hard to come out of the back four today. The Rangers players intermix so well. De Boer, Moles, now Advocaat, all comfortable playing either of the 3 positions up front.
That's Freddie Dundler. Hughes. You realise the quality of the Rangers' performance when you look at Kilmarnock's recent record and you see that they've only lost 3 times in the league since the end of November. That tells you something about how the home team are playing here.
They've certainly just not been allowed to play, it's as simple as that. Rangers worked so hard to win the ball back.
Michael Moles is on the ground holding his face. Alex McLeish looks on with a little bit of concern about his 2-goal striker. Arvalanza. And another member of the A-team, Amaruso. Play supplied by Ronald de Boer, and here he is again. Lots of movement round about him as well. Arvalanza, lovely ball in from Michael Moles. It's been a good start to the second half by the substitute Arvalanza.
They're certainly making an impact right away. It's good play, though, good passing the game from Rangers. De Boer, Advocaat involved, and Michael Moles is unfortunate here. It's a good ball in. It's his shoulder more than his head than anything else, and that's why he doesn't get it on target. Another opportunity though.
Chick, can you put some words in the bubble beside Alex McLeish's head for us?
Yeah, I'll cut out some of the expletives if you like. It's a message to Fernando Rickson, I think, to get forward more often round the outside of Arteta. Rickson is his way, has a little word whack with the gaffer, but there's only one winner at the end of that, and the message to Rickson is to get forward more often.
Chris Boyd starting to push around Amaruso. That doesn't happen too often. Gary Locke. It all fizzled out for Kilmarnock.
They can't keep the ball up. They can't make a combination of passes. They can't put Rangers under pressure at all. It's Stephen Clough, I think it's fair to say, has had one of his easier days of the season so far.
But Rangers really unstretched all over the pitch, no real questions being asked of them so far.
No, it's all about Rangers in possession of the ball and trying to create opportunities. I'm also watching Ronald de Boer, Rob. He's in a positional change as well. He started the game wide on the right hand side and had movement from there, but his start position now is through the middle beside Moles.
And here is Michael Moles, and there is Ronald de Boer. Pressurising Barry McLaughlin, the former St Mirren skipper. Rickson's throw. And that's a corner. Off McLaughlin, who was sticking tight to Michael Moles. Arteta gets it back from De Boer. The diving header away by Canero, and the clearance completed by Paul Di Giacomo. Well, we're 7 minutes into the second half, 7 minutes into the first half. Rangers had scored twice and missed a sitter.
It's all about Rangers going forward, isn't it? I'm looking at the Kilmarnock team in this moment. Every single player is 20 yards at the very most from Gordon Marshall's line.
Newman's throw. Barry McLaughlin with a miscue on the header. That was not top quality defending from Kilmarnock. Unsure of themselves. Rickson, Arteta, and played in too close to Gordon Marshall this time. The keeper grabbed it, and James Fowler is on the move. Good ball winning from Amoruso, helped out by Hughes. Now Arvelante. Nothing much going right for Kilmarnock. Ronald de Boer to Stephen Hughes. He was having a shirt pulled by Freddie Dendela, but kept possession, that was the key. Now Moles takes Greg Shields with him. In for Hughes. Took a deflection on its way to De Boer. Tried to roll it back for Arteta. And De Boer was angry that Arteta didn't attack the ball there. Di Giacomo. Well, Kilmarnock did cross the halfway line, but not for long. Rangers have it back with Ferguson. Lovely pass, perfect pace for Arteta. Onto his left foot, and the shot came off Moles, and Rickson's effort deflected off Dundela.
Good play again from Rangers going forward. How many opportunities are they going to create before they get the next goal? Arteta having the shot that time. Rickson, I wonder if he could pull this back to Michael Moles instead of having the shot. They elected to have a go. It was one a corner kick.
You get the feeling there's another goal coming. Rickson's corner kick, Amoruso's header. There should have been another goal coming. He didn't get over the header. Alone with his thoughts.
What's Gordon Marshall here, though, Rob? I think he's taken out the game. I'm sure the big goalkeeper would have collected that one. Amoruso doesn't get on target. It's just too high for him. Can't go over the top of the ball. Can't want the ball down the wing.
And gloriously unmarked from a Kilmarnock point of view, Amoruso. And he's one you certainly want to pick up at set pieces. It's gone Kilmarnock's way. McLaughlin's header. And Ferguson to Arteta. And quickly on to Rickson. Michael Moles wants it and gets it. Didn't give that layoff enough for De Boer, but Rickson puts the ball back in for Arvelante. Another glaring miss.
It should have been, no question about it. Chance after chance again. Rickson putting a good ball in, Fowler can't get there. Arvelante, if he just delays by half a second, he would get this on target. He snatches at it just that little bit. He had more time than they realised. Snatched at it and put it well over the bar by the post.
It should have been Avalanche's 15th goal of the season. You don't get too many better opportunities than that to score. And Kilmarnock must be delighted to look at the scoreboard and still see it's 2-0. 11 minutes into the second half. In truth, by now the scoreline might just have been embarrassing.
Should have been a few more. The chances have been there.
Avalanche again threatening down the left side, but this time needed to pull that back a little more away from Marshall.
It's a good cross. He's the one for the goalkeeper in time again to pull the ball back the way.
Chris Boyd's flick, and just in case you haven't seen him this afternoon, that's Stefan Kloss, the Rangers goalkeeper. He must be building up his tan. Nixon's pass, Arteta, now Moles. Off Dundalur. Canero to Fulton. Boyd for Gary Locke on at half-time. And given away straight to Amoruso. Arteta to De Boer. So elusive, little De Boer. Dundalur couldn't get close enough. Not a bad ball then either. Chested down by Ferguson for Arteta.
They're unlucky there, Rangers. It's a good move again. Great ball from Ron De Boer. Ferguson trying to find Arteta. But again, Rangers working so hard to win the ball back as quickly as possible. Just waves of attack from Rangers. It's time after time down both flanks.
Newman to Shota Arveladzé. Barry Ferguson. Kilmarnock under siege. Gary Locke wins it back. Good play from Chris Boyd. Fulton to Di Giacomo. Good run from Paul Di Giacomo. And that's a corner kick. It's deflected into the side net.
The referee's given a goal kick, Rob. But great play from Di Giacomo. Committing players, driving forward. He should maybe have pulled that back there, tried to go for glory. But it is good play, good determination.
Chris Boyd wanted that cut back. Now it's Rangers with Avalanche. Wonderful goal from Shota Avalanche. 3-0 Rangers, 14 minutes into the second half. That's a super strike.
He may have missed the last chance, but I tell you what a finish this is. So composed. Well, the one thing in his mind, and I'm going to hit this, cuts off the left-hand side onto his right foot, and you can't catch the ball any better than that. It dips over the goalkeeper, right in the top corner. Gordon Marshall, absolutely no chance of getting anywhere near that one.
His 15th goal of the season, Avalanche, and there can't have been too many better than that. It's 3-0 Rangers, a scoreline which, if it stays this way, will take Rangers back to the top of the league. De Boer, Avalanche again, and deflected behind off Barry McLaughlin as Rangers threaten to score again.
It's a real chance again. They get the break of the ball here. Avalanche tries to pull this one back, and good defending from Barry McLaughlin. But you got to say about Avalanche, it's a sign of a good striker. Missed a good opportunity earlier, didn't let it bother him, stuck it next one in the back of the net.
Arteta's corner, wicked delivery. Amoruso lets it go. It's Rangers' ball. significance of that third goal isn't lost on the Rangers supporters. But Rangers don't want to stop at 3. Remember, they scored 6 against Kilmarnock here in October, and they might easily today have the same again.
Well, just like Kilmarnock, every single Kilmarnock player is well inside their own half. There's no one up the park at all. Gary Lock is the furthest one forward, and he's playing midfield. They're just completely hemmed in, they can't get out.
De Boer was being held, no doubt about it. Paddy McLaughlin might object, but it was clear as day.
Yeah, and it's great play from Ron De Boer. He holds the ball in there. You can see McLaughlin all over him, pulling him back the way. You can't give away free kicks in that area. I wonder who'll take this one.
Marshall has picked the ball out of the net 3 times already. Doesn't fancy 4. Paddy Ferguson strikes it. Alan Mahood blocked it. Newman to Avalata, not picked up. Finding an awful lot of room. Shot to Avalata. This time for Michael Moles. Is it the hat-trick? Saved by Marshall. That's great ball winning from Mikel Arteta. And wasn't too bad a pass either. Avalata lost the ball. Has the look of men against boys.
The Rangers are so determined. There's obviously lots to play for, Rob, but they're winning every single tackle. They're winning 60-40s against them, whereas they shouldn't get the ball in at all. Oh.
Handbags at 10 paces between Alan Mahood and Mikel Arteta. Totally unnecessary.
It makes life difficult for the referee. He's awarded with the free kick. I think Arteta thought it was going in his favour. Alan Mahood should stay back from the situation as well.
These supporters don't need told that a 3-0 win gets them above Celtic again. Moles to Avalata. He's switched from left to right. He has been an added problem for Kilmarnock since half-time.
I think Robbie gave Alan McLeish credit for that as well. We thought McCann would have been the replacement for Lovencrantz.
Arteta's pass is brilliant for Moles. For once the first touch wasn't good enough for Moles. Otherwise he had a tremendous chance to nail that hat-trick.
He knows that himself. It's a real opportunity. It's a great run again, staying onside, times it to perfection, tries to drag it back there, doesn't get enough on the ball, allowing Gord Marshall time to make the save. Again, it's another real opportunity.
Moles frustrated, but what about the quality of the pass from Mikel Arteta?
Arteta's played exceptionally well, but it takes the run as well, Rob. The run of Michael Moles, the timing of it to stay onside, all part of the package. Pass
and the run took out about 4 Kilmarnock defenders. Paul de Giacomo didn't give it enough as he tried to pick out Chris Boyd in the middle.
Better from Kilmarnock though. The 2 young strikers trying to break forward. Won a corner kick, takes the pressure off the defenders for a lot of that time. It won't make me worry for Kilmarnock. There's too many players forward. The Rangers have to keep going the break.
Barry McLaughlin and Freddie Dindala are up in the 6-yard box. Alan Mahood's corner. Chris Boyd got his head to it. Mikel Arteta's bags of time. Free kick.
There's given it to Kilmarnock.
Given to Kilmarnock, which surprises me.
I think Michael Moores is trying to get in front of Fowler here, trying to hold him off. I don't really see where the word of the free kick is, to be honest with you. Both players just challenging for the ball, trying to win possession.
It's what he does, Michael Moores, and he does it so well.
I don't think he agrees well in Freeland there, does he? Michael Moores has played well though. The first 2 goals were so important, the first one especially to get in front.
Greg Shields plays it in. Amaruso with the first header, Ronald de Boer with the second, and Arthur Newman hoists it clear.
That's a free kick.
Against James Fowler for the push on Arveladze. Some strike from Arveladze for that third Rangers goal, and Gordon Marshall, well, hopefully had a good view because he had no chance of getting a hand to it. Craig Moore's cross, and there was pushing going on in the penalty box, and Barry McLaughlin makes a lucky escape.
McLaughlin's a lucky man. I think he commits the first free kick. He's pulling back Arveladze there. Arveladze then maybe has a go at him, but the first infringement was certainly by the Kilmarnock defender, and that makes it a penalty kick for me.
McLaughlin gets the sympathy vote from Alan Freeland. Remember quite so many goal-scoring chances in the one game on only 67 minutes gone.
It's incredible. Rangers have really went for it, as you would expect in this type of situation.
The title story continues in midweek. It's compulsive stuff. You don't want to miss Celtic Dundee on Wednesday night. That as well live on the BBC. Arteta's cross blocked by Shields. Time the back heel doesn't come off for Arteta. It's Gary Locke. But Kilmarnock, well, we've said it so often in this match, they can't keep possession. Ronald de Boer tries to shimmy through. James Fowler has it. Now Chris Boyd. Fowler hits it long, but that's safely with Craig Moore. Well, I mentioned Celtic Dundee on Wednesday night. That's from 7:30, and then next Sunday we're at Tynecastle. Hearts against Rangers, and if Rangers can win at Tynecastle, they have Dunfermline here on the final day.
That's brilliant.
Celtic are at Rugby Park that same day when the title will be settled. The idea was good from Ronald.
He played with his left foot, Rob. He's tried the outside his right foot to pull it back the way. He'll get more curl on it with his left foot from the wide left area.
What do you know about left feet?
Not very much.
Terrific turn from de Boer. Good recovery from Fowler. He got the ball. So lots of terrific football to come in the BBC in the next few weeks, with the UEFA Cup final, the closing matches in the Bank of Scotland Premier League, the Tennant Scottish Cup final. Stick here for all the top action. And Arteta's cross awkward, and then it bounced in front of Gordon Marshall, but good handling. We haven't heard from Chick for a while.
Well, substitution news coming from both teams. They're going to make a change. Kilmarnock are going to bring on young Gary McDonald, and I think it's Steve Fulton who's going to leave the park for them. Also a change coming up for Rangers. They're going to bring on either Caniggia or McCann. Alex McLeish has spoken to both in the last few moments. He wants to step up the pace, there's no doubt about that.
Did you know that because the fourth official just handed you a bit of paper by any chance?
I tell them what's happening.
Michael Moores was certainly making one or two comments down like McLeish. I don't know if he's maybe got a knock or something, maybe struggling just a little bit. Certainly a great run there to win the free kick into the box.
When you're chasing a hat-trick, I think the knocks usually go away.
That's what I would have thought, Rob. He's been exceptional today. His 2 goals are so important, but he's also played so very, very well. 2
2 up in 6 minutes for Rangers. And look at the number of fouls committed by Kilmarnock, that tells the story. And here's another chance for another goal. Arteta and Ferguson and Amoruso all poised. The ball not quite poised, it is now. Arteta to strike it, didn't dip quickly enough for him.
Doesn't hit the target, it's well over the crossbar. Rangers have had a few opportunities from that type of distance. That part hasn't come off for them today.
There's another reminder of the man of the match telephone number, 0900 10 200 25. And you know the prizes, plenty of them, including a new Game Boy SP. Steve Fulton, obviously much admired in these parts. He's coming off, former Celtic player of course. And his replacement is Gary McDonald.
Haven't seen much of Stevie Fulton today. Not his type of game. Kilmarnock have been chasing the ball all day. Stevie's a much more productive player when he's on the ball.
James Fowler looking for Chris Boyd. Amoruso won the header though. Rangers thinking about getting Claudio Caniggia into the action. Rolls to Arteta. Stephen Hughes. Good pass to Ronald de Boer. That came off Fowler. And behind, and here it is, Michael Moles who's going to come off shortly to be replaced by Caniggia. De Boer's corner. Stephen Hughes! Great effort, so unlucky, so close to Rangers' 4th goal.
This is great awareness from Ronald de Boer at the corner kick. Spots Hughes on the edge of the box, plays a good ball to him, good first touch from the youngster, and he's so unfortunate. Hits it well, beats the goalkeeper, but couldn't get it underneath the crossbar.
Encouraging too for Bertie Vogts to see Stephen Hughes getting some top team action. He hasn't had too many starts this season, in fact this is just number 6.
Tell you Rob, I've watched Stephen Hughes today. We know he's a good passer of the ball, good vision, good awareness, but when Rangers have lost the ball, he's worked back so well. He's won lots of tackles, more tackles than I've seen him winning before in the game. So he's obviously had that little bit to his game.
Good timing, Sandy, thanks for that. Good cut out as well from Craig Moore. Rangers want to keep their focus between now and full time because there will be other chances for them and there could be other goals for them as well, and we speak so often about that goal difference column in the league table, and it could just be decisive by the end.
It's going to be vital. Maybe the championship could well be decided on that. I'm sure that Alex McLeish is aware of that sitting there, but his players now will be tired, Rob. They've worked hard, but they've got to keep going, they've got to keep working away, they've got to earn the championship, the winning team.
There's Newman. Didn't quite come down for him. Now de Boer. Unstoppable Ronald de Boer on top 4. Michael Moles couldn't quite link up with him. Substitute Gary Locke was played down the line in hope rather than any expectation that there would be a Kilmarnock player on the end of it.
He was trying to get as far away from the Kilmarnock goal as possible. As simple as that.
That seems sensible. That wasn't very sensible from James Fowler. Late in on Arteta, and Alan Freeland reaching in his pocket for another yellow card.
Yeah, it's a late tackle. Good play from Arteta. Good first touch again. Takes it beyond the full-back. Fowler taking him out of the game.
And when you've been given the runaround, as Kilmarnock have this Sunday afternoon, then it's pretty tempting, isn't it, just to leave the foot in?
It is, you know, they're getting a hard time of it, no question about that. Rangers have played exceptionally well.
Stephen Hughes again driving forward from midfield. Ronald de Boer's cross flicked on by Moles, and Arvalata got his head to it, but didn't get an awful lot of power, and Gordon Marshall spotted that it was heading wide.
I'm not too sure if Avalanche is trying to score here or not. I don't know if he's trying to cushion the ball back across the 6-yard box. A bit of a mixture of both, but certainly well past Gordon Marshall's post.
I think he was caught in two heads. Michael Walls off, and it was he who set Rangers on their way with 2 goals in the space of just a minute and a half. 2 up inside 6 minutes, Rangers. Claudio Caniggia looking to add to his season's tally of 10.
Michael Moore, he's got to be tired of a knock of some kind, because he's played very well today. He'll still be contention for man of the match, don't worry about that.
Or does that not disqualify you even when you go off?
Not in the slightest.
Claudio Caniggia, a bit part player, but he's still in double figures. Good challenge by Shields on De Boer. De Boer certainly didn't fancy the challenge.
He's not happy, but Shields did get a bit of the ball. Yeah.
Arteta held off Locke, but he was taken out by Shields, and it's rapidly becoming the deck of cards. That's another yellow.
Yeah, it's a silly tackle again. It's a frustration one. Mikel Arteta, great play again to win the ball back the way. That's a great touch. Absolutely no chance of getting the ball there, Greg Shields.
Greg Shields, whose career started at Ibrox and went on to Dunfermline and then down to Charlton, and they can't have any complaints about being booked for that one.
Arteta's got a sore one as well.
Arteta's free kick, missed out on everyone in the middle. Giacomo off Hughes. Kilmarnock's throw. Just about 12 minutes left of the 90. Arteta, of course, whose penalty salvaged a point at Dundee last weekend. How important might that be in the final countdown? On the overlap, Caniggia didn't quite get the touch he wanted. Lovely move.
It's another chance, isn't it? Great support play from Fernando Rickson there. It's a good ball and tries to pick out Caniggia, gets him, and really Caniggia's he's got to try and change the direction of the ball here. Just got to try and flick it on towards the goal, but it's underneath it too much.
I mentioned Arteta's penalty there. Well, not a penalty this Sunday afternoon. Maybe we went into overload last weekend with 3 in the one game. 49,036 inside Ibrox, and the bulk of them well happy with what they've seen, and they'll be even happier if they get another goal or two. Gary Locke with the free kick, and they saw unchallenged as he powers his header away. That was Newman. Caniggia, Rickson to De Boer. Looking for a free kick against Alan Mahood, and Alan Freeland comes up with the goods. Onside Caniggia, he's round Gordon Marshall, and Rangers have a 4th goal. 10 minutes from time, it's Caniggia's 11th of the season, and it's 4-0.
Great awareness again from Ronald De Boer at the set piece. Doesn't hang about, plays it early. Caniggia staying onside. This is a great first touch. Commits the goalkeeper, takes him out of the game and just rolls it into the empty net. Don't panic when you get close. Take it round him, stay on your feet. Makes it look dead easy.
A superb pass from Ronald De Boer opens up Kilmarnock again. And a slick finish from Caniggia as he looks set to bid Rangers farewell at the end of the season. And he wants to go with the championship winners' medal tucked away. Kilmarnock have a corner kick. Hamaruso telling the assistant on the far side Martin Durham, in fact Frank Collett is on the far side, that he was fouled. Murjoy. A Hoops corner. Too much on it. Chris Boyd couldn't get on the end of it. And this time the flag goes up against Canisius, and that must have been tight.
It was just a fraction. He just goes half a second too early here. He was offside that time. A good awareness from Barry Ferguson. It's a good pass in.
I don't think he was off, Sandy.
No, you're right. I thought he was. I got the same view as the linesman, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt that time.
So Rangers might just have had number 5 there. Canisius not being flagged. And Sandy Clark's on the line and he puts his flag up, you'll know not to necessarily trust him 100%.
Just shows everybody makes mistakes.
Barry Ferguson was fouled by Gary McDonald. Ferguson, who was injured in the first half, and you just wondered if he was in more trouble with that long-running pelvic injury, which continues to be a concern both for Rangers and Scotland. James Fowler running into trouble. De Boer squares it for Newman. Well, he tried to chip Gordon Marshall there, Arthur Newman. He scored only once this season, up at Aberdeen in a 2-2 draw in November, and you could see there exactly what he was trying to do.
Tried to chip the goalkeeper, didn't he? But great support play again late in the match. After not as young as he used to be, obviously, but still wanting to get forward. Could be a happy man, doesn't look too happy at this moment in time, but I'm sure before the game he said they were going to win by at least 4.
And it might just be 5. Here's Canisius. Brilliant save by Gordon Marshall. And it's cleared by McLaughlin.
Great running game from Canisius, no question. This time well onside, gets beyond the Kilmarnock back 4, does everything right, apart from not getting enough purchase in the ball, enough pace on it to trouble the keeper.
It's De Boer on the byline. It's still not out. And Dindler plays it away up to Chris Boyd. Rangers insatiable in their appetite for more goals. Rickson under pressure, give it away to Locke. But Kilmarnock will be a happy team when they hear the final whistle go. It's been torture for them. Arteta and Ferguson. Moore to Rickson. Offside against De Boer. He's done an awful lot of running, a lot of industry from De Boer, in addition to the obvious craft.
I tell you what, Robbie, must have been offside. He's not arguing with anyone. He normally has his opinion, doesn't he? He doesn't agree.
Maybe he doesn't have enough air in the lungs left.
And the NGL man of the match is Michael Moles.
So 85 minutes gone. Who's your man of the match, Sandy?
Well, I'll tell you, there's a few contenders, Rob, but the first 2 goals, the first goal especially, was so important in this game. Now let Rangers relax, let them concentrate and try and add to the lead. And that man there, Michael Moles, he scored the first one, but apart from that, he's played exceptionally well, and he's my bank of Scotland man of the match.
Brilliant footwork from De Boer. Now Canisius, given back to Canisius by Locke. Hughes to Rickson. There could be more trouble ahead for Kilmarnock. De Boer fires it in. cleared by Dindala, came off Shields before Gordon Marshall picked it up.
Really almost surprised there's not been more goals in this game. It's been unbelievable the amount of chances Rangers have created.
I was just relieved it was Michael Malty as man of the match. We were on him for so long in the dugout there, just hoping you weren't going to go for someone else. But those 2 goals from Mols got Rangers off to such a bright start. Then Arveladze on as a sub, lead at 3. Claudio Canija, another substitute, added the 4th. Peter Canero trying to make some headway, but that's been difficult for Kilmarnock. Stephen Hughes has done his reputation no harm here.
This is his game when he's not been in possession of the ball. Robinson really impressed me today. He's played very well with the ball as always, great passing, great range of passing, but he's worked so hard to win the ball back.
That's good ball winning from Locke. Mahout to Canero. De Giacomo gets away from Arveladze. And the spectacular bicycle kick was by Chris Boyd, off target.
Well off target, but better from Kilmarnock going forward. Decent ball in the box, and Boyd tries the spectacular one there, but too many blue jerseys on the road.
Neil McCann's going to be a late change, the 3rd change from Alex McLeish. De Boer's pass. Arveladze tried to play it in for Canija, and again, twice James Fowler was in the way. The first time Arveladze reckoned, he blocked it with his arm.
Well, Arveladze had 2 chances to get the ball in. But what a magnificent crossfield change of play pass from Roland De Boer.
Well, Ronald De Boer has been absolutely outstanding for Rangers this afternoon. He hasn't scored, but he's done everything else.
Well, he had that chance the first 30 seconds, didn't he? But he's played very well again. He's a wonderful footballer. He's made his contribution today. Is there time for Neil McCann to get a chance? Everyone else has had a chance.
Arteta to Ferguson. Rixon to Hughes. Newman. Neil McCann's first touch. It's not a bad one, is it? And it brings a corner kick. Gary Watt wasn't sure what was happening in behind him. Took the safety first option.
It's a good ball from McCann, he does this so well. Pulls it back the way the goalkeeper can't come for it. Locke doesn't know who's round about him. Took the safety option.
Rixon's corner doesn't get beyond Gary McDonald, but it's take 2. 89 minutes just about on the clock. Rixon's delivery, Amoruso was waiting. McLaughlin flicked it clear. McCann, Arteta. Rixon's cross, juggled by Gordon Marshall after Greg Shields left it to him.
I think he thought Shields was going to clear that one.
+15 seconds short of 90 minutes, +3. Neil McCann at the byline. Got too much on the cutback. Canelo being given no peace by Arteta. Arveladze, Hughes. Canija and Rixon. Masterclass from Rangers, and shot to Arveladze came so close to making it 5. His effort saved by Marshall.
It's a great move again from Rangers, so patient. Arteta, it's a marvellous ball in, just maybe a call for offside there, but Arveladze wasn't hanging about. Gordon Marshall made a good save.
outside the first minute of stoppage time, and goes Stephen Hughes. It's a goal kick, and we may have played 91 minutes, but Mikel Arteta still feels like having a go at Martin Doran, the assistant referee on this side.
Arteta's played well as well today. He looks so much fitter now, sharper than he was maybe halfway through the season. He's made a real contribution. He's maybe benefited playing the right hand side of the Rangers midfield as well today, being a naturally right-sided player.
But in truth, much more than that between these two. Kilmarnock have been systematically dismantled by Rangers as the Ibrox team head for top spots again in the Bank of Scotland Premier League, and that pendulum I spoke about at the top of the programme keeps on swinging. Celtic got back on top for the first time in 5 months, and now Rangers want to retake that pole position. McCann's corner. Stephen Hughes with the header. Off target.
It's a free header. Stephen Hughes has got to get this in the danger area. Going to try and knock it. Certainly between the goals, and maybe somebody else will knock it in. No challenge again. Jim Jeffries will be really concerned with that one.
Two and a half minutes added. We're in the final seconds at Ibrox. Gary Locke launches it downfield, and that's a foul against Di Giacomo for his challenge on Amoruso. And look at Rangers, still in a hurry, still want to get on with it, and the match is over. A top-class performance by Alex McLeish as Rangers takes the Ibrox team back to the top of the league. Level on points with Celtic, but now 2 goals better off. And the goal advantage could have been even greater. Shota Arveladze scored the first goal of the second half. Rangers 2 up at the interval. And then Claudio Caniggia on the end of Ronald de Boer's pass stroked home the 4th goal of a very productive afternoon for Rangers, and the only gripe among these supporters is that Rangers didn't score more than 4. Rangers were a top drawer, Kilmarnock couldn't live with them, and Rangers have signalled their intent this afternoon. They reckon they can hold their nerve, and they reckon they have enough in their armoury to go on and win this championship. They're ahead by 2 goals at the top after a 4-0 win against Kilmarnock.
Yes, 4-0.
Well, an absolutely dramatic match, and of course the treble is still on for Rangers with the Scottish Cup final coming up. It was a 5-star performance, Ray. It
was wonderful, and without being too disrespectful to Kilmarnock, Rangers could have actually played without Stefan Kloss in goal. It was that much of a commanding performance, and they should have scored. They should have put the goal difference right out of the picture today. They could have scored 8-10 goals today.
Rangers have to go to Tynecastle next week. How are you going to cope with that?
Well, just looking at the stats there, Neil, 33 shots a goal, 15 on target. I just hope they don't have that next week, or we're in trouble. I thought they were scintillating today, I did. I thought everything that's good about Rangers was on show today. I thought they worked extremely hard all over the park, and they played some delightful football.
And Arveladze had a very good game as well. He was a substitute, of course. Let's take a look at the table, and this is how it looks. If you're a Rangers fan, you'll be delighted tonight. No doubt Martin O'Neill and some of his players will be watching this game. 91 points, goal difference, of course. Rangers just +2, of course. Celtic +64, Rangers +66. It's going to be tight, and Ray, it's going to the wire.
I think next week's the big game. Rangers go go to Hearts, and it's a very difficult place, as I said before, and they must get a victory. I don't think there's any two ways about it. But they could have done the goal difference, so it's such a huge favour. And next week go to Hearts, and hopefully they could get the victory. I know Craig's boys will be fighting them like mad for the 3 points, but they should have put the goal difference side right out of the picture today, and they haven't done so. They're only two goals in front.
From a man who scored 2 goals today, Michael Malls is with Chit Young.
A wonderful day for Rangers. I'm sure before the game you would have settled for 4, but you could have had more goals, couldn't you?
Yeah, if you see the chances we had today, and yeah, you can only say we only scored 4, but at the end of the day, you must be happy with the result.
Yeah, because it's sort of mixed emotions. I mean, as I said before that, you've been happy with that. That puts the pressure back onto Celtic, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course, but I think we only have to look to our own performances, and I don't think we have to look at Celtic.
Do you think, though, that over the last couple of weeks when people have said it started to swing Celtic's way again, that people maybe write Rangers off a bit, that's been a motivation for you?
No, not really, because we know what we had to do. First we had it in our own hands, but now you know the situation, and so we only have to focus on our own games and to get the best result as possible.
After the first 6 minutes out there, you must have thought it was going to be raining goals all afternoon.
Nah, I thought first with the chance of Ronnie, I thought, oh no, I hope not, it's going to be that kind of game. But yeah, then I scored 2 quick goals, and yeah, unfortunately we didn't manage to score the third one quick after that.
That was a bit of vintage Michael Malls, but not the first, both of them in fact.
Yeah, I don't know, it was a bit lucky, but sometimes you need luck too.
What about your future at the club? I mean, this will obviously bring you back into the headlines. People will say, are you going, are you staying? So I'll ask you first.
Honestly, I don't know. I said already before, I just want to focus on Rangers and the last games, and then after that I will see what my future will bring.
So the decision will be made in the summer?
For me, I will definitely make a decision after the season.
Do you believe now that the title is within your grasp? I mean, you just got to go and score the goals you can, and Sunday at Tynecastle, and then back here in a fortnight?
No, I think it's still it's an open thing still. Both have to still play 2 games, and you never know what happens. But what I said before, we have to focus on our own games, and we have to get a good result as possible.
Great personal performance today, Michael. Bank of Scotland man of the match. Champagne for you. Well done, my friend.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's great to sign this.
That was Michael Malls, and clearly, Ray, you know, he's got to get his contract situation sorted out after his performance today.
Well, I think it is important, but we were talking before about the economics of football now, and it's not easy for all of a sudden these players to sign another 3-year deal on astronomical money. So I think there has to be a bit of a meeting place between the player and the club, and if they can get it sorted out, all well and good. But if they can't, then you know, I'm sure Michael will disappear. But you know, after the injuries and the way Rangers have looked after him, yeah, he's a fabulous player, but you'd like to think he would give something back to Rangers as well.
And Craig, Martin O'Neill, Alex McLeish, will they be losing sleep every night in the next few weeks? Will they be waking up in cold sweats?
Almost guaranteed.
Yeah. Do you do that?
Well, I'd like to be in the position to be in the championship race, so that would let me decide if I have to go up in the middle of the night. Yeah. But no, that they both will be feeling the pressure. I've no doubt about that. But they've been managing big clubs for a long time now, or a fairly long time in football in terms, and I'm fairly sure that both guys will handle it very well. They have done so far. And there's questions been asked about both of them, and both have responded magnificently so far, and I'm sure they continue to do so.
Briefly, who's going to win it?
I think it's back to Rangers, but things can change again.
Ray?
I think Rangers. No, that's not being disrespectful to Craig's lot next week, but I think Rangers just have that ascendancy at the moment. If they play like they did today, then it's going to be very difficult for anyone to take anything off them.
Well, Rangers, of course, go to Tynecastle next weekend, next Sunday, in fact, and you'll see it live here on Setanta Sport. That's it for today. Thanks very much to my guests, Ray and Craig. Of course, we're back again next Sunday. Hearts against Rangers, Tynecastle. That's from 2:45. But from all of us here on the programme, enjoy your football.